Another day, another chance for cry bombers to piss you off. But today we picked up mortars and some other defenses, got that floaty, building damage. A sort of big thing was troop rail to level 4, because now it'll help even heavies, critters as we use them. In fact, max troop rail is enough for critters to also survive 2 mines, so maybe tomorrow we can try that out. And luckily we waited on this one because when we get this boost tomorrow, turns out heavy boost is really strong. Not so much heavy rushing, but just flaring a few boats with Sparky on one side can take a whole section out. But today is more about Sparky, and we'll try a few attacks. And since Sparky's critters are super strong, essentially every attack is how to take the most advantage of her. So some we can do probably the same, drop a bunch of troops, Sparky one bomber on one side, and then flare left. Or sometimes we can do Sparky on the left side and do that instead. It really depends, and just seeing what's better defended, either the right side or the left. Here the left looks pretty defended, a lot of buildings and mines. So we can do the, I consider normal hit. Usually it's just 2 rifles, 1 heavy, 5 bombers, then Sparky on the right side. Yeah, that floaty and mines are going to be annoying, but you can also wait that time and flare a bit later. So essentially it's rifle each side, then we do a few bombers too. And then Sparky 1 bomber delayed on the far right. Which we can do right now because only a few buildings. That final heavy is more for the left, which I guess we can do right now. Especially against those mines, heavies last a lot longer. And then on the right side we have to wait quite a while. Because first the bombers have to take down that floaty, and then even those mines right behind it, we gotta wait for that to go down. Maybe you could have delayed the heavy a bit more, because then now it would go to that boom cannon. But it's fine, we can just wait a few seconds, wait till that machine gun goes down, and maybe now start flaring. We can do actually a flare right here, trying to avoid those mines, but we did some Sparky's critters, so should be protected. Now we can do another flare. In fact, we'll first take down this boom cannon, or at least get people a bit closer, and then now move on the far side. We do have a fair amount of GB, so can maybe do something on that boom cannon machine gun. And those mines are going to be pretty annoying, so we'll try to maneuver around them one more time, tiny shock that machine gun. And as that engine goes down, we can do another flare right here. Those bombers are super low health, and I guess we did a half decent job avoiding them, and looks like around a 230 time. Of course mines are super annoying, but for what it's worth, we managed it okay. And that heavy boost we should get tomorrow should let us do even easier attacks. But now here is an example where I suppose the right side is more defended, maybe not so much right here, but also these buildings that would kite bombers towards the left side. You're saying that, okay, only 1 machine gun over here, so we can take Sparky and usually 2 boats on the left side. With the heavy boost, you can take 2 heavies, but since we have rifles, I think that might be a bit better. Like 2 rifles, maybe tiny shock those machine guns, a couple flares on the left side, and then on the far right, you can do 2 rifles, 4 bombers, clear everything else. So the 2 rifles and Sparky can already do a couple tiny shocks, and in fact 1 critter right away to start working on those buildings. Eventually we can upgrade Sparky too. Upgrading her lets her do just a few extra critters on her critter swarm. Then we'll do 1 more flare, and 1 final one towards the back. Again, our flare is level 3, so usually it's 3 flares in total. But if yours is level 4, then 2 should be enough. When the flare is almost done, you can go ahead and do rifle bombers on the right side. And then we'll do 1 more tiny shock, followed by probably 1 or 2 more critters. So get one going pretty soon. In the meantime, you got all those bombers doing some good stuff on the right. There should be some hidden mines right there, gotta watch out for. But I think after 1 more critter, you can essentially start flaring. Just waiting a few more seconds, and now we can go for it. Mainly because there's a bunch of critters on this side. So over here we'll wait for these bombers to finish off this engine, and then flare the last one. If you have a choice between floaty and a boom cannon, always choose a floaty. Since we need one more flare, we'll just ignore that boom cannon for right now. We've got plenty of bombers anyways, and even though the time isn't that much different from last hit, still around 230, 235. And we can also consider things like flames or shock launchers, but getting those at 4 engines sort of traps you into a super defensive path, which isn't a bad idea. It's gonna work, just don't think it's gonna be that fun. Versus later, rushing ahead to strong offense, even though we gotta wait a few more days, could just be less torture. But here we got this base with mortars, so it might be a bit tough going from the left side. If we have heavies with the heavy boost, then maybe we can still do 2 boats and Sparky, because then they kill some machine guns, we do critters. But because this one doesn't, we'll do the old normal hit, Sparky on the right side. And besides, not many mines towards the engine. So here we can do, again, 2 rifles, 2 bombers on this side, same deal over here. And then we'll just delay Sparky 1 bomber, maybe after a few of these guys go down. Just trying to get a good timing so they can go straight to that boom cannon, sniper. Sparky's great too because her passive critters should get those 3 mines. In any case, we're still gonna shock the boom cannon sniper. And we can even do the Flotty with 1 critter. We'll do maybe 1 more tiny shock right here. That critter is gonna die to the Flotty bomb, but it's okay because this engine should die anyways too. So waiting just a few more seconds. And once a Flotty and this engine is almost down, we'll go ahead and start flaring with 1 more critter. Because we have a fair amount of GB where don't really have to worry. All that's left now is just a bunch of flares, get everyone moving. Gonna take quite a while, but already with 2 engines down and 1 more minute to go, shouldn't be too bad. We have enough for only a few tiny shocks, so maybe get some down like on those machine guns. Maybe not the sniper because we got some critters moving along. We'll do 1 final flare which looks like no tiny shocks, so it's gonna be pretty close, especially with all those machine guns. Kinda sucks for Noah's in training because we're losing almost all our bombers. But this base with mortars, getting around 230, maybe it's still okay. And now I feel bad being mean to Cry bombers. Like it's not their fault there's mines. Still does seem like a decent time, so we'll see right here. And looks like that's good enough. Our goal is hit rank 17 as a 4 engine. Maybe not today, but tomorrow we can try. And then just wait, I think it's about even in 1 more day, then go to 5 engines. Since 5 engines cost nearly the same as flames alone, then it's kind of an okay trade-off. But here we have this base. Doesn't look bad for 2 rifles and Sparky on the left side. Yeah, there's a few machine guns, but still doesn't look too terrible. So we'll do the other type of attack. Here again we'll do a tiny shock and then machine gun and 1 critter right away. And then instead of flaring kind of on this side through those mines, we'll flare down here. So we'll do 2 rifles and Sparky, get a tiny shock and a critter going, and then just start a flare on this side. Get it going right here. There's always a small chance Sparky can die, but usually amidst all those rifles, it shouldn't be too bad. So 1 more flare on this side, and then we can do 1 final one, maybe just on that cannon. 1 more tiny shock right here, and as we're almost there, rifles, bombers on the right side. You can pretty much do tiny shocks on all these machine guns. Those rifles should die, which kinda sucks. That's why we got Sparky there to hopefully do a bunch of critters. So barely a few more rifles, and now just saving GB for critter swarms. Get 1 going right now. I think it's only about 12 critters at level 1. And that's why we're going to upgrade her later on. We'll do 1 more critter. And here maybe not flare just yet. Especially because we don't have any GB for flare. So I think we'll wait just a few more seconds. And I think right now can go ahead and send it. We again want to shock that Flotty. It's going to do a lot of splash. Nothing for that machine gun, but looks like the time isn't too terrible. Just like the other attacks, all of them being around 230. And we'll see if it's okay. So far it's been pretty balanced, either getting Sparky on the right side or Sparky on the left. Again, it's just seeing which side is less defended, and then you send her and her critters over there. We can probably keep going, but there's no huge rush to hit 17. And I also think with the heavy boost, it's just gonna be way easier. Cause that alone is like 35-40% more HP. And as far as upgrades go, tomorrow we can upgrade Sparky to at least level 3, maybe 4, and get Troop Hill to max level. Anything else, maybe building damage to level 4. And sure, we can do leftovers and boom cannons and snipers to max. But we don't have unlimited tokens, so that can wait a few more days. Essentially, it's heavy boost, try for 17, and then save for 5 engines. Not only is it a way better deck layout, which would already cost time, but there's some cool stuff after too. We got a Sky Shield, also gonna cost time, and 50 more building health. So all that's yet to come, but those are our Sparky hits. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.